We'll do it live. We're starting over. Hi. It's Friday. I'm on my first cup of coffee. It is Real World Recovery Friday financial live stream. We are going to be starting fresh. It is the title of my slide, and I just talked for 2 minutes, and so now I'm doing it again. Make sure, if you haven't already, to hit subscribe so that you can put your questions and comments in the chat. If this content helps you out, please make sure you like and share it with your friends. It helps us out. If it helps you out, help your friends out. So share it around. Pass the word. What we're going to do today is start building out a budget, start helping you get some things automated so that we can ideally do less math, not have to constantly be punching numbers into spreadsheets and constantly having to fill in budget workbooks and all of that stuff, and build some systems so that all of our finances and all of that actually starts to manage itself, frees up your time to actually, care about the other things, and, we can get some stuff done that we actually care about. And also, we can focus on our recovery and life in general. So, big thing that I want us to focus on here is, this is like, the big goal is we're going to do a lot of the heavy lifting one time, and then it's done. Once we get this done, it's taken care of, and ideally, like, we're never going to have to do this again. The system's in place, and then it's just going to do everything for us, and it just maybe takes a few tweaks and stuff down the road, but the majority of the hard work is done. So with that, we're just going to jump right in. So we're going to swap this over here. Boom. I made a handy dandy PowerPoint this time. Looky, that's pretty cool. Let's fire up our slideshow. So, that's the title. Starting fresh, building a recovery-friendly budget. That's what we want to do. So, our agenda. First, we're going to go over some of the stuff we went over last time. And just to kind of recap what some of the basic points we went over last time were, and then dive into some of the numbers. I know. We don't want to do too much math, but we do need to do some number crunching and stuff one time. And we're going to make our budget super simple, basic, but once it's done, then we can start to automate the stuff and then get this stuff working for us, get things automated, and have all of the processes working in the background for us. And I think, shy of like a couple of one-offs in the last, almost 4 years, I don't think I've had to manually pay a bill. Everything just gets taken care of. So, if you do it the right way, it takes a whole lot of stress off your plate. So, here we go. Then we'll show you automation. I'll help you show you kind of what that looks like, how to get it going. Then we'll do some takeaways and next steps and closing thoughts, and you'll be off to the races. So let's get into it. Recap. What did we talk about last time? We talked about the rule of 72, this one's the fun one. This talks about um, the how long it takes to double a balance when you're getting charged interest. So this is why we don't want to worry too much about the investing stuff until we're basically out of debt, when we're not paying somebody else high interest on like credit cards and all of that stuff. So, you take 72 divided by the interest rate, and that gets you the average approximate number of years it will take to double. So, the perfect example was like, if you're being charged, 20% interest, then it's going to take it'll take 3.6 years to double that balance. And most credit cards are actually charging you closer to 30 usually. So, very important to get out from under that credit card debt before we start talking about investing. So that's why investing comes later. But first and foremost, we want to talk budgeting. So I just touched on that just to kind of show the reason we don't jump right into investing. The 50, 30, 20, just kind of the basic breakdown of how I conceptualize budget breakdown. And not to beat yourself up about if you're not there yet, but this is just kind of an ideal kind of where we want to get to with budget breakdown. So out of all of your income that comes into your checking account or whatever, ideally about 50% of it should be going towards expenses, and that's the needs, not the fancy restaurants and the flashy new phone and all of that stuff. Just the rent, car payment, keep the lights on, those kind of things. The 30 is your savings and investing. Again, like we said, once you're caught up out of the high interest trap, and then the 20 is your fun. And then we'll break that down a little bit further when we get into it here in a bit. Automate. Get the systems in place so that the stuff is just happening automatically. One, because then it's happening. You don't have to stress about marking everything on a calendar and setting reminders and remembering to do what on what date and moving money around yourself and all of those things that stressed us out. It just happens automatically. But two, it frees up all of that time. Just give yourself all of that time back to, go and enjoy your hobbies, or, maybe find a side hustle or whatever it is to like free up all of that extra time. And just, we've got the technology. You might as well just have it just happen automatically. So, and, then there's no missed bills, no late payments, none of that stuff, so, and then this is just a quick little visual breakdown. So, kind of how the money should flow once it automates. So we're going to have all of the money come into the expenses account, which is bills and household expenses. And then automatically everything besides the money for the expenses is going to go then to our savings and investing accounts. And then everything that doesn't sit into those accounts, then what's left goes into your fun account, and that's what you're giving yourself permission to go and guilt-free have fun with. So, we'll break all of this down a little bit further here and get into it. So, get your note-taking devices and everything ready, because here's where we're going to jump in, and this is where we start breaking down your mission with this, and this is where we're going to start building your budget. So what you want to do first and foremost is we need to start adding up your numbers. So this is judgment-free zone. You're going to go back through last 2 or 3 months and take a look. Add up all your income. So if it's, if you got multiple sources of income, if it's a job, if it's side hustle, if you got, drive an Uber, if you, sell some artwork, if you do babysitting, if you do yard work, if you do whatever it is, all of the different things that have money coming in, add all of those up over the course of a month. So all the things that are green, as far as pluses in the bank account, add all of those up for the month. That's on the income side. Then all of your expenses, we're going to categorize these, but we want to know overall total expenses. And then we also are going to want to break these down. 4 categories. So I break these down into need it, like it, love it, want it. So need it, like it, love it, want it. So if you will recall, in our previous episode, there was a little bit of homework as far as what direction we're trying to go. This is something I can't tell you. This is something I can't, do for you. But this is where you've got to kind of paint that picture for yourself as far as what the end game looks like for you. We talked about what that perfect picture looks like, and so the direction we want to get towards is on this left side, the needs and the loves. You got to have the needs. That stuff's mandatory. But the love it side, that's the stuff that's getting you towards that bigger picture. The likes and the wants, those are fleeting. Those are those impulse buys, the Snickers bar at the end of the grocery store aisle, the stuff that's not really getting you to that bigger goal. But we still want to categorize these things. So this will give you a picture of where your spending has been. So that's just going to give you a picture. And again, like I said, it's not a judgment at this point for you. You don't want to beat yourself up, but this just gives you an idea of where you've been spending that money that's been coming in. And so now you've got an idea of, where your cuts can happen. So now the big one to focus on is your needs, obviously. So if you're looking at, your 50, 30, 20 breakdown, the 20 is your loves, right? That's where your fun money is going to go. The likes and wants, those should be the ones that it'll be a lot easier to say no to out of the fun money. The needs, that's going to go into your expenses, into the budget. And then the loves, that's the stuff that brings you the joy. That's the long-term, big picture, end goal stuff that you truly are passionate about and love doing. So that's the stuff you're giving yourself permission to spend guilt-free on. So when you omit the other side, how close are you as far as your budget goes with the need and love part? So that should give you a little bit better idea as far as how you're doing on your budget at that point, just without making any changes. And so then when you start moving into setting up an automated budget, what we're going to do is we're going to start to create some separate accounts. So like we were saying previously, what we want to have happen is we want to have uh, all of our direct deposit. Ideally, what we want to do is have our direct deposit just automatically get split. Most companies, if they do direct deposit, most companies can split this out um, by percentage or by dollar amount or however, just automatically anyway. You don't even need to do anything. Um, you can usually just tell them in the direct deposit stuff, um, hey, okay, I want 50%, or I want X number of dollars to go into this account, and I want whatever percent or whatever number of dollars to go into this account, et cetera, et cetera. Just with your employer, you can just tell them that. If not, some don't do that, and if that's the case, then what you'll want to do is we're going to create a primary account, and that's going to be our bills account. That's going to be the main location where that payroll gets deposited. That's also where our bills are going to get paid out of. And then, if you recall, we talked about bankrate.com, where we were going to look up some high yield savings accounts. And then that's going to be our savings account. So that's going to be the next account that we'll create. And then after we've got the amount that we need, we looked at it. In the previous slide, we just looked at how much we're spending on our needs for the last few months, and we know what all our bills are going to be. So we know how much needs to be in our account every month to cover all of our bills. So let's say we get paid twice a month. So out of each paycheck, we know, let's say for easy math, we need $2,000 a month to cover our bills. So we get 2 paychecks a month. So $1,000 a paycheck needs to go into our account each paycheck. So then after that $1,000, then the next account gets, however much, let's say, our paycheck is, if we're doing our math this way, then if we're doing our math exactly right, if our bills are $2,000 a month and we're exactly budgeted correctly, then our paycheck would be $4,000 a month. So that means each paycheck would be $2,000. So we're putting $1,000 of that into our bills account, leaving $1,000 left, right? So, am I doing that math right? Hold on, I'm second guessing myself. I should have the calculator up. Okay, so if our bills, hold on, if our bills are $2,000 a month, and that's half, right? So we've got to multiply that by 2. So that's what our paycheck is, right? Okay, yes. So then $2,000, and then divide that by 2. That leaves 1,000, and then oh my god. Where did my number go? Whoops. Okay, so yes. So then we're gonna do the other 1,000. Will end up going between um, the savings and the fund money, right? So um, why am I yeah. I am drawing a total brain fart here. This should be easy math for me, but I'm feeling really dumb. So this should be 60, 600, and 400, if I'm right. Yes. Yes. So, because, yeah. Okay. So, 1,000 would go into your bills account, 600 would go into your savings, and 400 would go into your fund account. Oh my God, sorry. I said my first cup of coffee. Um, so, um, we're going to go onto the bankrate.com. I'm assuming you guys already did this because that was homework. um, but yeah, so we're setting up a checking account that's going to be for our bills account. We're going to have a high yield savings account that then, in this case, we've got $1,000 per paycheck going into our bills account. We're going to have 600 that goes into our savings, and then 400 will go into our fund account. Now, like I said in the earlier part with the rule of 72, the savings, basically what we're doing here is we want to build out a cushion to have as like an emergency fund, but we also want to get ourselves out of any of those high interest debts. So before we start thinking about investment account and all of these things, we definitely want to make sure that we're not paying, extremely high interest on all of these things. So, if you've got multiple credit card accounts and things like that you're just like making minimum payments on and you're paying huge interest, we want to prioritize getting out of that debt. So definitely prioritize that, and we'll talk more about getting out of debt and getting out of debt, credit repair, things like that in the future as well. So then once we've got these accounts set up, basically what we've got is either option A, the easiest option is we had our employer automatically divvy out the direct deposits. That's the easiest option. Second easiest option is we set it up so that the transfers happen from that main account. So if we're in the second option, I would recommend just setting it up so that either if you get paid, say, twice a month, have it happen, have the transfer happen usually like a couple of days after you get paid, just to make sure that, the check clears, that for any holidays or anything like that. But basically, this is ideally what it's going to look like: is payroll happens, and then all your accounts get funded, and you've got all of these separate accounts automatically have the right amount of money in them. All of the things that are supposed to happen from those accounts automatically happen. And then the next thing that happens from each of those accounts, so like you go in and set up auto pay on all your bills. If it's a bill that for some reason you can't set up auto pay like through them, oftentimes the bank will allow you to like go in through the bank and set up an auto pay. Like if it's like a utility bill or something, like you can oftentimes just through the bank say, hey, here's the bill that I owe, can you pay them on whatever day? And you can usually do it that way otherwise. But more often than not, you can just usually go on the website and say, hey, pay what I owe you on this day, and it gets taken care of. And so huge advantages to doing this. You start to build trust in your system. You build confidence in yourself. You regain a ton of time, so that you can focus on other priorities. You reduce anxiety about your bills, which is giving you more mental space for your hobbies, for your passions. Let's face it, less math, less guilt about spending. Things that I recommend: you do monthly check-ins with this, especially early on. You may need to tweak some of the amounts and numbers, especially if you've got, some bills like, water bills, electric bills, things like that aren't always going to be exactly the same. So you may need to build in a little bit of a buffer, and might need to modify your amounts slightly. There's some helpful apps out there that can also help you kind of check in on this stuff. There's Mint, Pocket Guard, Simplify, Rocket Money. There's a bunch of them out there that you can try that are free, that you can just kind of check in on these things at a glance, but don't obsess over them. I say that knowing full well that I am the type of person that I will often check these things probably more than I should, but it's still better than left to my own devices. I would be the person who's like building out spreadsheets and automations and stuff in my spreadsheets, and trying to like figure out how to reinvent the wheel with a lot of this stuff, when just building out these kind of simple systems really truly does work very, very well. And so not overcomplicating it is truly like your best friend when it comes to this stuff. So, and don't be afraid to adjust these as needed, especially early on. This like 50, 30, 20 is a guide. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's not a, oh, if you don't do that, you're going to fail. Like, and nothing like that is, I'm not saying that at all. Like, this is just what has worked for me. Um, and, you know, it's very much a guide. You know, it's a goal to shoot for, especially early on. So don't think that like you have to, because I know for me I would obsess over, you know, a 0.5%, or you know, if I wasn't exactly at 50, I would be the type of person that would obsess over like having to get it exactly perfect otherwise. And so like use it as a guide, try to get close. It's okay if you're not exactly right there. But you know, you don't want to be at like 80, 0, 10, or, you know, like, so, try to get close. 'Cause those numbers will pay off in the long run. And it definitely is extremely helpful to future you to have that kind of cushion. And so we're gonna swap over to this, and I'm gonna close my screen share, or close my slideshow, I mean, and we're gonna slide this over. Yeah, so I guess the big takeaway that I wanna kind of leave you with is that automation with money has allowed me to spend a lot more time focusing on learning more about money. I haven't had to spend so much time worrying about when something's due. Do I have enough in the account? Do I have to move money from here or there? When is this? You know, it just has freed up so much time and mental space for doing anything else. But what it turns out is that I actually really have enjoyed learning about it, and that's something that I've found that I'm passionate about. Whatever that is for you, give yourself that time and that mental space to go and learn something, and or whatever it is. But in that time, you just might find that it ends up being something that allows you to end up making a little bit more money as well. There's so many opportunities out there that we try so hard to cut things from our budget, and there's only so much that we can cut. And I think that it makes a lot more sense in this world to be smart, yes, not be excessive or overly indulgent. Like, obviously that is wise advice, but I think if we are smart with our time when it comes to money, we can then repurpose that time and mental capacity to go out and find other ways to perhaps make some more money if that's what we need to do. Or if it's not so much about making more money, it's just regaining some of that time and you know, freedom for our mental health sake or our recovery's sake or for service work's sake or whatever it is, being able to do that. I truly believe that the best way for us to stay consistent and have ongoing success and feel confident with our money in recovery especially is by setting up these systems. So if you have any questions, if you aren't sure about anything that I went over today, please reach out. If this information helped you, please, one way you can help this channel is share this channel with someone else. So make sure you subscribe and set notifications so that you always get notified when we put something new out there. I'm going to continue to do these. I'm going to try to include some additional exclusives for folks on our Discord, like some downloadable content, maybe some exclusive like Ask Me Anything content or things like that as well. So leave a comment if there's anything that you'd like to see that you think might be helpful. Any additional information that maybe, you know, I could also go over that you think might be beneficial. I want to hear from you. So with that, yeah, please stay tuned. There's more to come. I appreciate you tuning in and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Till next week.